is Guay down this near side. He pushed over. No, the referee allows play to continue, and Burnley have possession. Play back towards the halfway line towards Ward-Prowse, but just sells Ward-Prowse a little bit short, and that allows City to win it back through Cherky. The cheeky back heel back towards this near side, and Nate Norrie. And Guay goes over towards the far side. Now it's Kushinov just outside the centre circle for Manchester City. Down the centre he goes, gets a little flick on. Bernardo Silva has it in the inside right position. Bernardo Silva racing towards the edge of the penalty. He's just going to keep going. Bernardo Silva, why not? Gets the shot in. And it hits the defender, cleared out towards the far side, but they just backed off Burnley. Hartman goes long in the end, clears it long towards the halfway line, but Manchester City will deal with that. And they'll have the ball again inside the centre circle with Mark Guay. And Guay goes square to Kushinov towards his right-hand side. Just to the left of the centre circle now is Aït-Nouri. He goes back to Kushinov once more. He goes long, searching out Semenyo. It's half cleared by Burnley, but Haaland picks it up again, loops it out towards the far side. I think you're going to see some pretty incredible possession stats this evening for Manchester City. You're looking at probably about 80% plus. I wouldn't be at all surprised. And a little bit of a loose one there on the halfway line. Ward-Prowse on it goes towards the edge of the penalty. A little bit stretched here, Manchester City. Goes up towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. Shot comes in. Oh, it's well saved by Donnarumma. Lovely effort as well from the left-hand side of the penalty area by Jadon Anthony. And in fact, the offside flag has gone up, but I'm not sure whether that was on Anthony or whether that was after the save. But a lovely effort, right-footed curling towards the goalkeeper's left-hand side. City sloppy in possession. Nico Riley it was who lost it. And then Chuana advanced out towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. Cuts inside his right foot. It's a lovely effort. It's a good height for the goalkeeper, to be fair. It's a save you probably would expect Donnarumma to make. Having said that, I was not expecting to say that Burnley would have the first big moment of this game here at Turf Moor, but that's exactly what happened. Now Manchester City trying to create a big moment themselves, but it's overrun by Anton Semenyo over on that far side. Had quite a quiet afternoon, actually. Sloppy from Burnley. They lose possession now. Edge of their own penalty area. Can City take advantage? In comes the cross. Here's an opportunity. Cut back. Must be 1-0 to Manchester City. Oh, it's hit the post. I think it was Bernardo Silva with the shot. No, it was Cherky, I should say. And it may just have got fingertips onto the post from Dubravka, in which case it's a brilliant save from the Slovakian goalkeeper. Cut back by Bernardo Silva. Semenyo square. He has to score. Oh, I tell you what, he gets fingertips on that to push it onto the post. Cherky, left-footed. It's a brilliant save. I tell you what, it was a good save at the other end from Donnarumma, but nothing compared to that from Dubravka. That's an absolutely brilliant one to push that onto the post when it seemed certain as if Cherky was going to put Manchester City into the lead within the first, what would have been 5 minutes here at Turf Moor, but it's still goalless between Burnley and Manchester City. And they go long now, looking for Fleming's not going to quite get on the end of it, and City go back to Donnarumma. Donnarumma closed down, goes up to the inside left position. Nico O'Reilly back to Guay, first time clearance by him. Little flick on by Doku. This is promising. Doku over the halfway line. Haaland is through. Haaland for 1-0 to Manchester City inside the area on his left foot. Dinks it beyond the goalkeeper, and Manchester City have the lead inside the first 5 minutes. The first opportunity a minute or so ago was pushed onto the post by Dubravka. It was a brilliant save, it has to be said, but he wasn't going to save that one. And Manchester City have the lead in a game that if they win, they'll go top of the table. And it's taken less than 5 minutes for Erling Haaland to get his 35th goal of a prolific season. That's 35 goals in all competitions. It's Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. And it's that man again, Erling Haaland, who got the winner, of course, at the weekend. And he's got the opener of what could be the first of many this evening, you feel, here at Turf Moor. It was, they were in a tight position, actually. The ball played towards the halfway line from the left-back position. Flicked on. And then it's just one ball from Doku. Haaland gets there ahead of the defender, is Ekdal. Couple of touches to take him inside the penalty, and then left-footed, you just clips it really beautifully into the far corner. It's a lovely finish for the Norwegian. You wouldn't expect anything less, would you? And Manchester City's goal machine does it again. And there really is no stopping that man Erling Haaland. They've got the early lead. That'll settle any nerves. Whether there were any nerves or not, I'm not too sure. Well, there certainly won't be any nerves now that they've got that lead. So it's Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. And long ball forward now for Burnley. They're a little bit short here, Manchester City. A couple of times this has happened. It's an opportunity for an equaliser. And again, the save from Donnarumma as it came back. I think it was Laurent with the shot. Well, they've lived dangerously a couple of times, Manchester City. And on another day, Burnley could have had a couple of goals here. Worked it well again on the left-hand side of the penalty area. The ball inside, they just looked a little bit short over on the far side there, City. And in the end, the shot towards goal from about 8 yards out, Laurent, it was close to Donnarumma, smothered it, got it clear, and City have possession again. And, well, it remains Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. But that was another big moment here in this game where Manchester City could have been pegged back there to 1 apiece. But as it remains, or as it stands at the moment, Manchester City are going top of the league. And let's not forget at the other end, of course, that will mean relegation confirmation for Burnley at the first time of asking. Here comes City again, touched off nicely by Haaland. He's in the mood tonight. Haaland, is this 2-0? Oh, he's ballooned that one over the bar. And I think it's taken a nick, actually, off of the defender and behind for a corner. But they just can't handle him. They really can't. Laid in by Cherki. One touch to take him inside the penalty. He tries to hit it with the outside of his left boot. It's good defending, actually, by Maxim Ezdev to get something on it to put it behind for the first corner of the evening. And that corner goes to Manchester City, who are in the mood this evening. In the mood to get goals and increase, of course, their goal difference, which could ultimately be very important, of course, come the end of the season. As it stands, City and Arsenal will be level on points. City will be ahead on goals scored because their goal difference is exactly the same. But here's a chance for City. Second shot comes in. That one's blocked. And it was Cherki again. Semenyo retrieves over on the far side. Now Nunez. Now it's Cherki again, edge of the penalty area, pokes it up towards the right side of the penalty area, and Burnley sort of half clear it, but it comes back out to Semenyo again over on that far side. Leaves it now for Bernardo Silva. That's a little sloppy one from the Portuguese, and Burnley can at least clear their lines, or momentarily they can clear their lines. Here's Hartman. They're intent from playing out from the back here, Burnley. A little risky, has to be said, and they play it down the line, and Manchester City want it back immediately. No surprise there over on the far side. So City will come again, but that's a sloppy one from Cherki. And Burnley, well, they've shown going forward they're actually quite dangerous, Burnley. They've got those two big opportunities as well, that on another day they could have scored with either of them. It didn't happen. Here's Kyle Walker, the ex-Manchester City man, infield to Ward-Prowse, just to the right of the centre circle. He finds Laurent just outside that centre circle, and they've worked it over towards the left-hand side nicely. Actually, Hartman now can bring it over the halfway line. Playing a really high line there, Manchester City, and Laurent and Fleming were both looking to burst clear, but they would have been offside if that ball was played through. And so in the end, they've thought better of it. Touched off back towards this near side for Humphreys now. Cuts infield slightly. And in the end, it's swept over towards the far side. Estev has it. Maxim Estev. Back infield again. And I've just got a feeling that Burnley just going to go back to the goalkeeper in the end, but Estev decides to go long in the end. Header clear from Kushnov. A little bit of head tennis over on the far side. Can Semenyo keep that one in play? He can. And City have it again with Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva low ball back towards the edge of his own 18-yard line. And here is Kushnov, goes square to Mark Guay. It's got Aït-Nouri towards his left-hand side, just shy of the halfway line. Goes long though down the centre. It's one to chase. Cherki will chase it, and it's good defending actually. And it's Estev who shepherds that ball out of play, and it's behind for a goal kick to Burnley. 10 minutes played here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. And a goal from Erling Haaland in the 5th minute for Manchester City to give them that lead. Beautifully finished as well. Just looking at another replay of it, it just sort of clips it. It's so nonchalant from Haaland. It really is. Just opens up. The keeper doesn't cover the angle particularly well, to be quite honest with you. But it's a lovely finish from the Norwegian. It really is. And no opportunity Burnley now go long out towards the far side. Anthony, who looks quite dangerous actually, can't get to that one though on this occasion ahead of Mateus Nunes, who can clear. Semenyo, first time by Bernardo Silva out towards the far side. I think that's taken a flick off a Burnley player, but it's going to be kept in play actually. Good pace from Anthony to rush over towards that near side and keep that ball in play for Burnley and set them on their way again. Ward-Prowse back inside the centre circle, and then the low ball out towards Humphreys, the number 12, down this near side for Burnley. Back towards the halfway line it goes, inside the centre circle with Lauren, the number 29, Josh Lauren, ex-Stoke man, back inside his own half again. And Ward-Prowse gets a touch over towards the far side. Good little spell of possession. This from Burnley. A spell so far in the game, but the ball's gone out of play from the far side. It's actually come off of a Burnley player, so it'll be a throw-in for Manchester City on the halfway line down their right-hand side. They're playing from right to left in this first half, attacking the Barnfield construction stand towards our left-hand side. Back it goes to the goalkeeper Donnarumma. Now here's Ait-Nouri, loses possession. Oh, he's got lucky there. Kyle Walker thought he'd picked his pocket there for a second, but the referee says otherwise, and it's a free kick to Manchester City in their right-back position, which they've already taken. There is another game in the Premier League this evening, which we will keep you up to date with kicking off at the same time as this one. Bournemouth against Leeds, that's currently goalless. And these games, of course, being played tonight because of the FA Cup semi-finals at the weekend. Manchester City, they play Southampton, and Leeds, the reason they're playing tonight is because they play Chelsea, managerless at Chelsea again, after the sacking of Liam Rosenior early today, after that latest defeat. 5 defeats on the trot now for a Chelsea team who look certain now to miss out on Champions League qualification. And let's not forget they were in, if I'm not too mistaken, they're in 4th position when they sacked their last manager. Ball forward now towards the edge of the penalty area. It's up towards the left-hand side for Burnley. It'll be retrieved by Laurent, though. They continue to pose a threat coming forward, Burnley. Low ball into the box. That's not a particularly good one. Cleared out towards the far side, but they will retrieve it through Hartman. Hartman finds Esteve behind him. And it goes now towards the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Anthony square towards his right-hand side. It's just retrieved slightly. Humphrey out towards Kyle Walker. Steadies himself. Walker, right-footed ball into the box. Took a deflection off of a Man City player, and it's cleared out towards this near side for City. Burnley will have it back. It's gone out of play. It will be a Burnley throw, though. About 15 yards inside the Manchester City half, down the Burnley right. Quick one taken as well by Humphreys. And then it's back with Esteve. Esteve touches it off. All goes all the way back to the man in orange this evening, Martin Dubravka, who, let's not forget, made an absolutely sensational save. It was only about a minute before Manchester City did score and take the lead. But what a save that was to push that onto the post. I'll tell you from Ryan Cherky, that was one of the saves of the season. Absolutely. A real stunning save that was. Back it goes again to the Slovakian. Brings it forward towards the edge of the penalty. He's going to clip one out towards this near side. Not a particularly good one. He's just gifted possession back to Manchester City. Now can they take advantage of that sloppiness from the goalkeeper? Here's Doku, edge of the penalty area. Cherky just forced out towards the right side of the penalty area. Still has possession though. The Frenchman clips one in, and then it's headed clear by Ward-Prowse just on the edge of the 6-yard area for Burnley, out towards the far side. It's put out of play, and it'll be a Burnley throw. It's Nunes with the last touch. Throw in for Burnley. Midway inside their own half, down their left-hand side. We're at the quarter of an hour mark here. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. City going top, Burnley being relegated. Stories at both ends of the Premier League table tonight. Manchester City, after this, of course, they got their semi-final of the FA Cup at the weekend, and then league-wise, it's away to Everton at the Hill Dickinson on the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. They're then at home to Brentford on the 9th of May. Away to Bournemouth on the 7th. So ball forward here. Now this is an opportunity. Edge of the penalty area. This is a real chance. And it's put wide by Fleming when he had to score. What a huge opportunity for Burnley to equalise. Well, they've had 3 big opportunities now. Now, was there an offside in the build-up? Oh, it's very tight. Long ball in. Fleming brings it down. A couple of touches. And then right foot. It's an awful shot. There's no other word I can use to describe it. And the interesting thing about it, he skews it well wide of the goalkeeper's right post. And Donnarumma had almost sort of set himself to dive to his left-hand side. So if it was on target, it was going in, because there's no way that Donnarumma was getting down to his right-hand side. And it really is. I don't want to be harsh, but it's an awful finish. It really is. Burnley should be level. It's still Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. And Zian Fleming with a huge opportunity to equalise for Scott Parker's men against Manchester City. You're not going to get an easier opportunity than that. You're really not. And he's fluffed his lines there big time, the ex-Millwall man. Ball's going to play over on the far side. Throw into Burnley, just inside the City half, down the left. And just completing Manchester City's fixtures. Home to Palace on the 22nd, and then home to Palace on the 22nd, and then home to Villa on the 24th, which is the last day of the season, when all teams, of course, will play. The only time in the season they'll all play at the same time. There's an offside flag up, and that's on our man Zian Fleming, who missed that opportunity to put Burnley back into this game at 1 apiece, and he couldn't deliver. He couldn't deliver the goods from about 12 yards out. Real missed opportunity there. City with possession then. Interesting stat just flashing up. Last 5 minutes of possession, 68% in favour of Burnley. Good little spell for them. But of course, it's all well and good having the spell, and it's all well and good having those opportunities, but of course you've got to take them, and they didn't take them. They didn't take that one, and that's why they are still trailing by a goal to nil. City have found a way out over on the far side, over the halfway line. They come with Cherky as he just ran that ball out of play. Well, in fact, he's done well actually to win the throw, because he just played it off of Jadon Anthony. So it's a throw in for City just inside the Burnley half, down the City right-hand side. Is Anton Semenyo in the inside right position. Suddenly puts the afterburners off. Then low ball out towards the right side of the penalty area. Cherky. There's the cross towards Haaland. There's the header clear on the edge of the 6-yard area. City pick up the pieces with Bernardo Silva. Flips one out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. Cherky trying to make space for the shot. Gets the shot in. Might well have hit Haaland, actually. And in the end, Burnley can clear. They go long out towards the far side. It's going to go out of play, though. I think actually it's flicked on by Fleming. He has actually kept the ball in play. But he's kept the ball in play by gifting possession back to Manchester City. Rushing out of his goal comes the ex-PSG Italian goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma. Donnarumma for Manchester City, who's just seamlessly come into this side, hasn't he, into this team. He really has. And big boots to fill, of course, with Ederson leaving Manchester City in the summer. We've heard that John Stones is going to go as well in the summer, as well as Bernardo Silva. What a servant he's been. What a Premier League legend, really, Bernardo Silva has been all this time here at Manchester City. And, well, he will be sorely missed. Here's Doku. Suddenly puts on the afterburners, through towards Haaland, doesn't reach him. Another shot comes in, edge of the penalty area from Bernardo Silva. But there's a flag up over on the far side, and it'll be a free kick to Burnley inside their own penalty area. Doku, he just has that way where he just sort of picks the ball up, almost just sort of at walking pace, and then suddenly just puts the afterburners on. Played it through towards Haaland, just in the D. He got a shot in. That was blocked. It fell for Bernardo Silva, but Haaland was the one in the offside position, and it will be a free kick to Burnley. 20 minutes played then. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. And I have to say, after going behind after 5 minutes, you did feel the worst for Burnley, and it still may be a big defeat tonight for Scott Parker's men, but at the moment that's not the case. Fleming's rushing onto this one. Can he get there before Kushanov? No, he can't. The Uzbekistanian tidies up nicely, goes out towards the far side, and Semenyo, lovely turn by the ex-Bournemouth man over the halfway line, and he's the one putting the afterburners on now. Just holds it up there midway inside the Burnley half, and goes back down the line, allows Burnley to get back in numbers, because they were a little bit short there with the home team. City still with possession, though. In the inside right position is Cherky. Goes out again towards that far touchline, and Anton Semenyo. Down the line it goes. Here's Nunez, just cutting in field slightly. Traps the ball under his right boot. Everybody behind the ball for Burnley, as you'd probably expect. 1-2 between himself and Cherky, then retreating back towards the halfway line. Kushinov inside the centre circle. Kushinov then breaks through, just sees space, runs into it, keeps going. Oh, he then falls over, edge of the penalty area. That was unlucky for him. That was a really good burst from the central defender, and Burnley can get it clear. City have a throw in just inside the Burnley half down the left. Just opened up beautifully for him. He thought, why not? And just before he was either A, about to pull the trigger and have a go at goal, or B, maybe make an incisive pass, he just lost his footing. He just slipped a little bit, just to the left of the D as we look. City come again. Nico O'Reilly. Out again towards that far side. There's the cross right-footed. It's got too much on it, though. Carl Walker's underneath it, and Carl Walker loops it long and clear for Burnley. Even now, it still feels quite strange saying Carl Walker when you've got Manchester City on the opposite side. Something strange about it. Here's Bernardo Silva, left-hand side of the centre circle for Manchester City. Just holds it up, and then it goes back to Kushinov. Everybody bar Donnarumma now inside the Burnley half. Here's Mark Guay. Finds Doku, traps the ball on his right boot, goes back towards the halfway line of Bernardo Silva. It's definitely a different position that Bernardo Silva's been playing for Manchester City this season, far more of a deeper role for him. Kushinov now out towards the inside right position. Nunez down the line to Semenyo. Semenyo pokes it back to Nunez. Nunez plays it back inside his own half to Kushinov. Good work by Burnley just to push Manchester City back a little bit here. Kushinov still has it. And then City find a way out. And over the halfway line they come. Semenyo just about manages to poke it out towards the far side. Back in field it goes to Bernardo Silva. Sweeps it out towards the inside right left position. Mark Guay midway inside the Burnley half. Ball forward with pace. And Cherky's going to get a free kick. Dead central inside the Burnley half for the foul by, I think it was Josh Laurent. Indeed it was. So free kick to City. We are midway through the first half. Burnley 0, City 1. Guay is going to get the cross in. He was going to attempt to get it in, but it hits James Ward-Prowse. Cleared towards the halfway line. Retrieved by Kushinov. Out towards Semenyo over on that far side. There's that turn from Semenyo again, trying to turn around Hartman. He's done really well as well. Now, Anton Semenyo, can he get the ball right this time? He can get the ball right into Bernardo Silva, but his touch is heavy. That allows the challenge to come in, and Manchester City will have a corner, their second of the evening. Semenyo just rolls the defender over on the far side. It's really good play by him, and it's a lovely ball in towards Bernardo Silva. He'd be disappointed with his first touch there, the Portuguese. That allowed the challenge to come in. Otherwise, he would have had a shot on goal. Corner from the far side then for Manchester City. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger. Two arms up in the air. Semenyo there at the far post. Haaland is stood pretty much on the goal line. In it comes towards the far post. It's headed across and it's poked behind. It was Nico O'Reilly who arrived late at the far post. And Zian Fleming was actually there at the near post to do a better job than he did when he had that huge opportunity at the other end to equalise for Burnley, and he fluffed his lines when he did the right thing there, just clearing his lines, put it behind. Another corner to Manchester City. They've gone short this time. Doku with the ball in, and not a great one by the Belgian, and Burnley just go long, but there's no outlet there for them. Bernardo Silva will retrieve it left hand side of the centre circle. City just slow it down just so the team can get back into formation. Bernardo Silva now bringing it forward inside the Burnley half. Eventually it reaches Doku, level with the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side, low ball across the edge of the 18-yard line, cleared for Burnley, but he'll be picked up again down this near side. And here's Cherky. There's the shot. Decent effort on target. Comfortable save for Martin Dubravka. 25 minutes played. Burnley 0, City 1. Nicely worked again by Cherky. What a goal that was. Lovely goal he scored at the weekend against Arsenal. Burnley go long. Just danced his way in towards the penalty area, didn't he? And he just slotted that ball. No pace at all, just precision with that ball beyond David Raya, the Arsenal goalkeeper. Absolutely superb, it really was. And that gave Manchester City a lead, of course, that they gave up very, very quickly with that error from Donnarumma. They got the win eventually, though, through the man who's got the goal that's given City the lead so far this evening. It's Erling Haaland. There's the ball out towards the far post, but that's cushioned nicely by Kyle Walker. Back to the goalkeeper, goes back to the ex-Manchester City man down this near side, infield to Ward-Prowse, goes back to the right back position, and then it's played along by Humphreys towards the halfway line. Little flick on, not a bad one. Again, they look a little bit stretched here, Manchester City, as it's poked out towards the far side. Can Josh Laurent do something? City back in numbers now, to be fair. Laurent just holds it up. And back down the line, and it's all the way back towards the halfway line. Just lacking a little bit of intent there, Burnley, because they're in a good position as they burst forward. Knocked out towards this near side. That's a sloppy one, though, from Chuana. And City will have it again with Nico O'Reilly inside the centre circle. And down the centre it goes. And eventually it reaches the feet of Jeremy Doku. He's level now with the edge of the penalty area. Goes back out towards this near side, and Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva in field to Mark Guay. Guay goes square out towards the inside right position. City working it from left to right. Anton Semenyo now has possession. Semenyo, he's got two Burnley defenders for company. Just holds it up. Thought about getting the ball into the box. Goes back to Nunes though. And Semenyo again twisting, turning over on the far side. Back in field it goes to Cherki. And Cherki goes out towards that far side. Semenyo knocks it off. It's so congested on the edge of the penalty area. Somebody can have a shot. Yes, they are. And it was Nico O'Reilly, the man in form. It's pushed clear by Dubravka. Comfortable save for the goalkeeper. Good height for the save. And it's put out in the end. But Nico O'Reilly, there's nothing stopping him at the moment. It's just so full of confidence. He really is. And this is going to bode well, I think, for England in the World Cup. If he can stay fit and he can stay sharp. And there were so many City players there on the edge of the penalty area. Nobody fancied just pulling the trigger. And in the end, Nico O'Reilly said, well, I will. Left-footed inside the D towards the goalkeeper's right-hand side. Nice, comfortable height for Dubravka. Pushed it clear. City have it again on the halfway line. Here's Kushanov. Kushanov slows it down a walking pace, just casually towards his right-hand side, where he finds Mateus Nunes. Now Cherki out to Semenyo. Right-hand side of the penalty area. Still Anton Semenyo. Cherki again is so congested again on the edge of that penalty area. Manchester City just walking it around alongside the 18-yard line, trying to find a breakthrough, trying to get through the crowds and crowds of Burnley defenders. Well, they've lost possession here. Now can Burnley strike? Over the halfway line they come with Chuana. Goes up towards the far side. Here's Fleming, edge of the penalty area, and that shot might possibly be worse than the previous one. Left-footed into Rosette and behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. And I'll tell you what, if Burnley had a half-decent centre-forward playing for them tonight, they could have had a couple of goals. They could be winning this game. It's really good work by Chuana to win the ball back off of Guay. A little bit sloppy from him. Lovely ball with the outside of the left boot towards Fleming. One touch to take him inside the penalty area, and then left foot from just inside the penalty area. It's an awful effort by Zian Fleming. I'm sorry it is. It's not as bad as the last one, because the last one he should have scored. That one was a tough one. I mean, he was like 14 yards from goal and slightly to the left-hand side. It would have been a great goal if he'd scored from them, but it's just no conviction, no composure whatsoever from the Dutchman. And it landed, when I say Rosette, they're not the biggest stands in the Premier League, are they, here at Turf Moor? It could well have ended up in the car park behind the stand, that one from Zian Fleming. Half an hour played here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Here's Mark Guay. It's his mistake there that could have caused the problems. They have had opportunities. I mean, the XG for this first half so far is 1.37 for Manchester City, 0.54 for Burnley. I thought it'd be more than that, to be fair, judging by the opportunities they've had. Here's Doku. He's switched towards the right-hand side. Gets the shot in. And it's taken a deflection and gone behind for a corner. Good defending, actually. I think it was Hartman. Good work by Semenyo. I did mention how quiet Semenyo was at the weekend against Arsenal, but he's been really lively in this first half. And now down that right side, Doku switches over towards that far side to join Semenyo. Try to get the crossing towards Haaland, and it's poked behind for a Manchester City corner. Their fourth of the evening in the 31st minute. They lead by a goal to nil. That's all they need to do to go top of the table. A little bit of concern here as the trainer comes on for Dubravka, so we're going to have a break in play for a minute or two. And as it stands, as well as Manchester City go top of the table, because Burnley will be relegated. It's still Bournemouth 0, Leeds 0. Down on the south coast, the Cherries against a Leeds side who, I guess, well, they have half an eye on their FA Cup game at the weekend. They look pretty much safe, don't they, Leeds? They, if they can get a point tonight, actually, Leeds in that game against Bournemouth, and let's not forget a Bournemouth team who are in very, very good form. The Leeds will go to the magical, what they used to call the magical 40 points, which should be enough for survival. Forest, of course, are on 36. West Ham are on 33. Spurs are on 31. Burnley are on 20, and they will be relegated tonight if they lose this game. Dubravka appears to be okay. He's made a couple of handy saves this evening. Beaten on one occasion, stood no chance without the coolness of Erling Haaland putting Manchester City in front, and they've got this corner now. Dubravka has got back to his feet, and the trainer is off. Now can City produce from a set piece? And it comes a terrible corner from the far side. It's volleyed out of play by Chuana, but that's a really, really poor one from a man who doesn't often take corners for Manchester City. Ryan Ait-Nouri, the Algerian, took it. It was low towards the near post, and it was a comfortable clearance as well. And it's out of play from the far side. City do have a throw. It's midway inside the Burnley half, down the right-hand side for the visitors. And it's going to be taken by Nunes. Back towards the halfway line it goes. Here's Mark Guay inside the centre circle. Guay advancing inside that Burnley half, and then another sloppy one from him. Gives the ball back to Burnley. Here's James Ward-Prowse. Goes back towards the edge of his own penalty area just to retain possession. Ekdal goes back to Dubravka. First time clearance long down the centre, right-footed. Over the halfway line. Header clear from Kushinov. Now where will that fall? A little bit of head tennis inside the Burnley half. Semenyo's battling with it, but it's Burnley who come away with it, and it's Laurent who has it. Comes back towards Estev. And there's going to be called back for a foul on Doku. Just outside the centre circle. The Belgian just down, holding his right leg. Just looking at a replay of this one. Doku comes in. And it's totally accidental. I don't know if there was it was Laurent, it was. I didn't even see him there behind him. And the referee did stop play, but he hasn't given the free kick. He just stopped play for it was sportingly stopped by Burnley, you have to be said, because it wasn't a head injury. Burnley didn't. They were under no obligation to stop the game there, Burnley, but they sportingly did for Jeremy Doku, who I'm pleased to say is back on his feet and appears to be okay. So Burnley get proceedings underway again, and they go long, drilled towards the edge of the penalty area. Guay with the cushioned header. Now Haaland in a deep position towards this near side. Back in field to Guay. He turns right foot. He goes all the way back to the goalkeeper Donnarumma. They then go long City. Haaland gets a little flick on, but it doesn't quite work out for the Norwegian, and Burnley have it again as they try and advance towards the edge of the City penalty area. That's a misplaced pass, though, poor one by Ekdal, which gives possession back to Manchester City. They might be a little bit stretched here, Burnley. They've been back in numbers, haven't they? But they're a little bit short here. Here comes City. There it goes, ball in towards Haaland. It's cleared on the edge of the 6-yard area. Now it's Ward-Prowse. Can't quite control it, so City have it again with Ait-Nouri. Doku, left-hand side of the penalty area. Jeremy Doku pokes it towards the D. It goes back to Mark Guay in the end of all people. Does he fancy a shot at goal? No, he does. He goes back to Kushinov. Returns the favour immediately. Then it goes out to the inside left position and Ait-Nouri. And now Bernardo Silva has popped up on this left wing. Guay again. Nico O'Reilly. Can he sneak it on towards Ait-Nouri? Yes, he can. Now Doku's come out towards this near side again. Doku, left-hand side of the penalty area. There's the ball into the box. This is impressive from Manchester City. And then it's teed up beautifully as well for Ryan Ait-Nouri, and he blasted into the crowd towards our left-hand side for a goal kick. That was beautifully worked. Doku, first of all, in towards Bernardo Silva. It's back to goal, about 10 yards out. Bernardo Silva touches it off beautifully into the path of Ryan Ait-Nouri. Then right-footed. Do you think he's going to go for the curler? And no composure there, I'm afraid. And we talked about the shot from Fleming earlier that went into Rosette. That wasn't too dissimilar from the Algerian. Goal kick for Burnley. 10 minutes to half-time. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Keeper goes long. Little flick on by James Ward-Prowse. Eventually it reaches Carl Walker. The tricks are coming out from Carl Walker. Lovely little back heel down this near side by the ex-Manchester City man to Humphreys, and he's gone long down this near side. It's going to be a Manchester City throw in their left-back position. And the left-back today is the man who just had that wild shot some moments ago, of course, Ryan Nouri. The throw-in is taken by the Algerian. City go long. Not a particularly good clearance out from the back, and Burnley have it with Humphreys. Humphreys now working his way towards the right-hand side of the penalty. It's just held up by Nico O'Reilly. Goes back to James Ward-Prowse. Prowse, of course, is on loan from West Ham, in case you'd forgotten. He's not actually on Burnley's books. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the end of the season, of course, with Burnley almost certainly going down. Well, of course, West Ham could go down as well. We wait to see. Got themselves a battling point the other night, didn't they, against Crystal Palace? Only at the end of the season will we know whether that was a point gained or two lost for West Ham. I think there was mixed feelings from the fans, really. Thought maybe they should have gone for it more to try and get that 3 points in South London. Ball is loose over on the far side. City have come away with it. Here's Anton Semenyo. Anton Semenyo, when it goes to Cherki, his first touch is too heavy, and that allows the challenge to come in. And in fact, he fouls Ekdal as well, trying to win the ball back, and it's a free kick to Burnley inside their own penalty area. And there is a game in, there are some games in Spanish La Liga tonight. It's finished Elche 3, Atletico Madrid 2. Atletico, of course, it's all about the Champions League now for them, isn't it? Into the semi-finals. They've got a two-legger coming up against Arsenal, first leg at home. Real Sociedad 0, Getafe 1. Barcelona and Celta Vigo's not on kicked off. The leaders goalless with Celta Vigo at the moment, having to respond to the victory for Real Madrid last night, which did cut the gap at the top of the La Liga table. But Barcelona still firmly in control. The gap was cut to 6 points, but they can increase that back to 9 with a victory tonight at the Nou Camp. Ball is out of play over on the far side. It's going to be a Manchester City throw on the halfway line. In front of the dugouts over on that far side, Scott Parker. Of course, so many managerial changes this season in the Premier League, and when you look at the lower part of the Premier League, of course, Burnley unquestionably are the lowest placed team that still have the same manager they had at the start of the season. As Burnley play out from the back, they have to go long in the end. Fleming tries to get the little flick on, doesn't work out for him, and City have it again over on the far side with Cherki. Ball in towards the box, that's taken deflection. It's going to go behind. It's come off a Hartman, and Manchester City will have their 5th corner of the evening. Burnley, of course, are one of just 2 teams in the Premier League that do play both title challenges between now and the end of the season. They've got Arsenal at the Emirates in their penultimate game of the season. The other side that could actually have a huge say in the title race is Crystal Palace, because Palace's last 2 games of the season will be away to Manchester City and at home to Arsenal. Corner then for City. Right above the goalkeeper. Good punch clear by Dubravka. It's still loose inside that penalty area. And in the end, the referee's seen enough to give a foul. I think it was on Haaland in the end. The Norwegian, as physical as ever. But just went beyond the line or over the line there as far as Andy Madley, the referee, is concerned. Just climbing over Fleming by the looks of things. I say climbing, he just sort of fell on top of him, really, quite accidentally. He's such a unit, isn't he, Erling Haaland? He really is. Had an incredible battle at the weekend with Gabriel. I mean, you could have just watched that, couldn't you, those two, for 90 minutes. It was quite extraordinary, it really was. So Dubravka takes this free kick for Burnley. 5 minutes to half-time, out towards Kyle Walker. Ball is still up in the air, and it is headed forward for Burnley. And then Kushanov brings it down and then goes long. Header clear for Burnley. Kyle Walker and James Ward-Prowse together. Well, they got in each other's way, and that allows Haaland to win the ball back to City. They could be in trouble here, Burnley. Doku now advancing left-hand side of the penalty area and tries to square it towards Haaland. It's cleared. Guay picks it back up, though. Now Bernardo Silva. Can City get the second before half-time to put them in a really comfortable position where they're not going to do so with a ball like that from Jeremy Doku down towards the byline, which has got too much on it, and it goes behind for a goal kick to Scott Parker's men. Looks like just the one side that were promoted from the Championship are going to go down this season. The last 2 seasons, of course, the 3 teams that came up from the Championship all went down. Well, it's not been the case this season. Sunderland are comfortable in 11th at the moment, and well, I've already mentioned Leeds. If they could get that point tonight, well, or even better, of course, but certainly if they can get at least a point tonight at Bournemouth, you'd have to say that Leeds are safe, and then it's really 1 from 3, isn't it? Which is Spurs, West Ham and Forest. It could go all the way to the end. That will the Premier League title race go all the way to the end? Well, it didn't look like it a few weeks ago, because it looked like Arsenal were cantering towards the title. And now suddenly you've got to question whether Mikel Arteta's men can respond to their recent disappointments and keep pace with Manchester City. Because if City win tonight, they go top. 5 games to go, and we know what Manchester City are like when they can smell blood. Long ball forward now for Doku. Can he wrap his left foot round it to keep it in? He can! And it's cleared at the near post and put behind for a corner. Estev gets there before Haaland. Doku really showing his pace there. That ball, when it was played over the top, I just thought there's no way the Belgian's going to get there, but he makes the run. He's got such a turn of pace. Just gets there before the ball goes out. Left foot, he gets a decent ball into the 6-yard area as well. Wraps his left foot around it. Haaland coming in at the near post. Really good defending to put the ball behind for another Manchester City corner. They're 6th. They've taken a short one. Cherky gets the ball into the box. That's headed clear. Falls on the edge of the penalty area, and a snapshot which is down into the ground and through harmlessly to Martin Dubravka, the Burnley goalkeeper. Out towards this near side it goes. Held up by Chuana. Back towards the edge of the penalty area, just in the right corner of the penalty area, and then turning. Ekdal goes back to Dubravka. They're intent on playing out from the back here, Burnley, and they've got it all wrong. They've lost possession down this near side. They've gifted possession to Aït-Nouri. You could just feel it coming, couldn't you? To be fair, they're back in numbers, and Manchester City haven't made them pay because they've just slowed it down to walking pace. Here's Mark Guay. Little flick on edge of the penalty area. Doesn't work out for Manchester City, and then Cherky brings down James Ward-Prowse. So it's a free kick to Burnley, just on the edge of their own penalty area. A couple of minutes to half-time. We'll have a minute or 2 to add on. Just for that one stop, really, wasn't it? That injury to Dubravka, who seems absolutely fine, to be fair, since the trainer came on about, about 10 minutes or so ago now. So the man in orange towards our left-hand side prepares to take this free kick for Burnley, who are heading towards their 10th home defeat of the season. They have got the worst home record in the Premier League. Ball's going to play down this near side. Manchester City will have a throw, level with the edge of their own penalty area down their left-hand side, and it'll be taken by Ryan Aït-Nouri. Across comes Bernardo Silva, although he then retreats. Aït-Nouri still looking for something, and in the end he goes all the way back to Kushanov, edge of the penalty area, just to the left of the D. Out to Núñez over on that far side. Núñez just held up by Laurent momentarily, but manages to find Semenyo down the line. Semenyo returns the favour. It's not a particularly good ball by the ex-Bournemouth men. They have to retreat back towards the edge of the penalty area, Manchester City. They found a way out, though. Guay, left-hand corner of the penalty area. On to Nico O'Reilly. First touch is too heavy, and Ward-Prowse wins it back for Burnley, but then he does well to make up for his earlier error by putting the ball out of play down this near side. So it's a throw into Burnley on the halfway line, or just inside the Manchester City half, down the Burnley right-hand side. I've got to say, they've acquitted themselves fairly well here, Burnley, in the first half. Nobody's expecting anything from them this evening. They're 1-0 down. They've had 2 or 3, one particular huge opportunity to score. Possession-wise, yes, Manchester City have been dominant. We expected that. It's 66-34. I was saying earlier in the game, I wouldn't be surprised if it was up in about the 80s. But and it might have been for the first few minutes, but certainly not since then. Burnley have acquitted themselves really well here. They might not get anything out of this game. They're playing for pride more than anything else, aren't they? We're into stoppage time. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. And Burnley have a free kick just inside the Manchester City half, I should say, a few yards in from the right-hand touchline, and free kick specialist James Ward-Prowse takes it, and it comes from Prowse towards the far post, and in the end it's scrapped away by Manchester City for a corner. They just couldn't handle it. Kushanov in the end, they just couldn't get their lines clear. It's a really good ball in, swung in right-footed. It bounces about 14 yards from goal out towards the goalkeeper's far post. And Ekdal nearly got on the end of it. Kushanov in the end manages to smuggle it away for Burnley's first corner of the evening. And it'll be taken from the far side, the Burnley left. Now, could they spring a surprise here just before half-time? Ekdal is up. Just stood on the edge of the 6-yard area for Burnley. 2 minutes of stoppage time. We've played one of them. James Ward-Prowse with this corner, and it comes towards the far post, and Kushanov will lash it clear for Manchester City out towards this near side. It'll bounce out of play. So it's a throw-in for Burnley, just inside the Manchester City half, down the Burnley right. It's going to be taken by... Well, in fact, there's been two different players who eventually they've given the ball to Kyle Walker, who gets this throw in and then throws it back towards Humphreys, back towards the edge of the penalty area. Now it's Dubravka. Dubravka takes one touch and then kicks long right-footed for Burnley. Sails over the halfway line. There's a header clear there for City, but Burnley play it back towards this near side. Header is won, though, by Norrie for City. Inside the centre circle to Bernardo Silva. Might be one last attack here for City just before half-time. Cherky out towards Semenyo. Semenyo midway inside the Burnley half. Slows it down to walking pace. Back in field it goes to Cherky. Ball on his left foot. Goes back towards the halfway line, and the referee's seen enough. Half-time here at Turf Moor. And Manchester City got that early lead inside the first 5 minutes through Erling Haaland, his 35th goal in all competitions this season. They've had other chances as well to extend their lead, but Burnley have had 2 or 3 good ones themselves, haven't they? And Zian Fleming, a couple of times, fluffing his lines. One in particular, a huge opportunity to equalise just after Manchester City had taken lead. But City, as it stands, are going top of the table, and Burnley, as it stands, are going down to the Championship. Half-time here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1, back in 15 minutes for the second half. Welcome back to Turf Moor here in Lancashire. 8 p.m. Premier League kick-off on this Wednesday evening. Half-time, it's Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. And what that means is that, as it stands, Manchester City are going to hit the top of the table for the first time since August, and Burnley will be relegated. Their relegation will be confirmed to the Championship. The solitary goal in the 5th minute from Erling Haaland for Manchester City. I'll give you the lineups for this second half. So Donnarumma in goal for, in fact, I'll give you the Burnley lineup first. Dubravka in goal. The back four from Leicester right: Estev, Ekdal, Humphries and Walker. Midfield quartet of Anthony, Chuana, Hartman and Ward-Prowse, and Josh Laurent and Jan Fleming. Up top for Scott Parker's men. For City then, Donnarumma in goal. Back four, Nori, Gueye, Kushinov and Nunez. The midfield, Doku, Nico O'Reilly, Bernardo Silva, Anton Semenyo, Cherki just off of Erling Haaland. On the benches for Burnley, Breuer, Edwards, Fiorentino, Foster, Lucas Perez, Tresor, Ugachukwu, Avis and Worrell. For City, Ake, Foden, Kovacic, Marmoush, Gonzalez, Reinders, Savinio, Stones and Trafford. Usual home strip for Burnley, the sort of burgundy shirts, light blue socks, white shorts. Manchester City in a change strip, the grey with the luminous yellow socks and trim on the shirts and shorts. Burnley are going to get us underway at the start of this second half. They are playing from left to right, attacking the Barnfield Construction stand towards our left-hand side. Our referee is Andy Madley from Huddersfield. So it's Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Keep you up to date with the other game in the Premier League this evening. Half-time in that one, it's Bournemouth 0, Leeds United 0. Ball's gone out of play over on the far side. Burnley are going to have a throw pretty much level, or almost level, with the edge of the Manchester City penalty area, and by the looks of things they're going to hurl one in there towards the penalty area. Well, they haven't done that, they've gone short. Ward-Prowse with the cross. It's a good cross as well. City smuggle it clear towards this near side. It's retrieved though by Anthony, and Semenyo attempts to run it clear, but he's running out of play. So it's a throw into Burnley on the halfway line down there left. Quick one taken as well by the Burnley number 3, Hartman. Back towards the edge of the penalty area it goes, and in the end back to Dubravka. Takes one touch and then low ball out towards the far side. There's the long ball down the line. That's a really sloppy one for Burnley. Can City take advantage? Cherki edge of the penalty area. Semenyo first touch is a little bit heavy. Still managed to get the shot in, but it's blocked on the edge of the penalty area by Estev. And Burnley can bring it clear. That was really sloppy from Burnley as well. Long ball down the centre. And can Chuana control it? No, he can't. City win it back, but then City lose it through Doku. A little bit sloppy from the Belgian. A little bit of a sloppy start to the second half by both teams. He is down this near side for Burnley. Humphries, he goes, or Hartman I should say, he goes long. That's not going to find its intended recipient, which was Jan Fleming. And City will have it again with Bernardo Silva. Clips it out towards this near side is Nunez. Bernardo Silva's continued his run, then leaves it for Anton Semenyo. Immediately back towards the edge of the halfway line. Nunez infield to Kushinov, and now it's Nico O'Reilly right inside of the centre circle. 1-2 between himself and Ryan Cherki. They switch play out towards the left-hand side. Here's Mark Gueye. Gueye cuts in on his right foot, still advancing towards the edge of the Burnley penalty area, and he goes down. He goes down very easily, I have to say, under the challenge of Looms Chuana, but it's a free kick which is quickly taken, and they've worked it up to Doku. Left-hand corner of the penalty area, infield to Gueye, goes immediately back out to Doku again. Doku tries to thread one through to Cherki. He's not going to find the Frenchman, and Burnley can bring it clear. Long ball towards this near side. It'll be chased by Jayden Anthony, but it's not going to find him because chasing back there is Mateus Nunes. Now Nico O'Reilly again. Touch a little bit heavy from Semenyo, but he gets lucky and manages to get it through to Cherki. Cherki out towards Bernardo Silva now, right inside of the penalty area. This is promising for City. Infield to again to Cherki, but he just overruns it at the important time, and Burnley lash it clear. In fact, it goes all the way through to Donnarumma just on the edge of his 18-yard line. Out to Kushinov. Remember, as far as the Premier League, as far as the goal difference goes at the top of the table, as it stands, with this win. Manchester City will be played 33. Just break off a minute because Burnley are coming forward. And Anthony has it, goes back towards the halfway line. They could have been a little bit more positive there. Burnley still with possession, but they're back inside their own half again. Ward-Prowse touched on, that's a sloppy one, and that allows Manchester City to win it back, and they might break here. City, Cherky, he's got Semenyo to his right, Haaland to his left, might not need either of them, might do it all alone, finds Semenyo, forces him a little bit wide, and Semenyo blasted into the crowd towards our own side. It was a poor finish from Semenyo, but it was a poor pass actually from Cherky, just forced him too wide, and I think Semenyo knows that, and he was just off balance slightly as well, the Ghanaian, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. So as it stands, Manchester City and Arsenal will both have played 33 games. They will both have won 21 games. They both would have drawn 7. They both will have lost 5. So they'll be exactly the same there. And they will both have the same goal difference, plus 37. The reason at the moment that Manchester City will go top of the table is because they've scored more goals than Arsenal. They have scored, including the one tonight, 66, as opposed to Arsenal's 63. Arsenal have conceded 26. City have conceded 29. Burnley loop it long. Fleming gets a little flick on, might fall inside the penalty area. That's good tidying up actually, and I think it's bounced off of the Burnley player. It was Anthony, indeed it has, is it? And the ball looped over the top, and Fleming actually gets a really good flick on to Anthony. He gets in between the two defenders, brings it down, and actually it will be a corner because the last touch I can see, just looking at a replay of it, came off the Manchester City player, who was Ryan Aït-Nouri, and it will be a corner for Burnley, just their second of the evening. We played 5 minutes at the start of the second half. Pep Guardiola not happy at all. He's off the bench, not happy with something involving that move for Burnley. So can James Ward-Prowse produce something here? Burnley's second corner of the evening. Their first one was right at the end of the first half. Might have been in stoppage time, I think. Ward-Prowse right-footed from the far side. And it comes. City get it clear. Retrieved though by Hartman, and Hartman goes all the way back towards the halfway line. Here's Kyle Walker inside the centre circle, pumps it long again towards the edge of that Manchester City penalty area, and Haaland of all people has won it back. And Haaland, nice ball out of the back actually towards Doku. Doku beaten to it by Kyle Walker, and sets Burnley on their way again. And here's Humphreys out towards the far side. Burnley play it back inside their own half again. Here's Kyle Walker. He's going to play that ball diagonally from right to left, out towards the near side, but underneath it to head it clear is Kushinov. Burnley win it back, but that's a sloppy ball towards the edge of the penalty area by James Ward-Prowse, which is going to go all the way through to Donnarumma. Donnarumma out towards Bernardo Silva. The Portuguese slows it down a walking pace and then goes square to Nico O'Reilly on his left-hand side. O'Reilly on towards Ryan Aït-Nouri, who brings it over the halfway line for City. O'Reilly goes over there to join him, gets the ball back, the Englishman, just to the left of the centre circle, and plays it inside that centre circle for Bernardo Silva, who's got Matheus Nunes towards his right-hand side in the inside right position. He then finds Semenyo hugging the touchline down this right-hand side for City. He's now level with the edge of the penalty area. 2 Burnley players around him. Opts for the easy ball in field to Nunes. First time ball then from Cherky back to Kushinov on the halfway line for City. It reaches the feet of Jeremy Doku now over on the far side, cuts in field onto the right boot and then leaves it for Gueye. Now it's Bernardo Silva. That's a poor one. And Burnley can clear through. James Ward-Prowse loops it long out towards the far side. Gueye is there for City. It's gone out of play and it's come off for the England international. So it's a throw in for Burnley on the halfway line down their right hand side. They've shown enough going forward here, Burnley. They've caused Manchester City some problems. They really have. And Jean Fleming had a gilt-edged opportunity in the first half to score for Burnley, and he fluffed his lines really badly. And now down this near side is Hartman. And towards the edge of the penalty area it goes. So Hartman down this left-hand side. And now it's Estep. Goes long towards the halfway line. A flick on out towards the far side. Not a bad one either. And then Doku wins the ball back. That's going to be a free kick, surely, for a pull on the Belgium. In fact, good strength by him just to keep possession, which he has done. So he still has possession for Manchester City. Goes back towards the halfway line. And touched off by Semenyo. Back to Nunes inside his own half. Nunes square to Kushinov, just outside the centre circle. Not back to the Uzbekistanian by Bernardo Silva again. Now Nunes. Low ball to Cherki. Lovely turn by Cherki over the halfway line. Now Cherki on towards Haaland. Not going to find him though. Played it just behind the Norwegian. And Burnley can clear through Laurent. Laurent's going to go long out towards the right-hand side. That's one to chase, and rushing out of his goal comes Donnarumma, who then takes the ball back inside his penalty area, picks it up and then bowls it out towards Aït-Nouri over on the far side. The Italian gets the ball back on the edge of his penalty area, leaves it for Kushinov, and then retreats back inside his 18-yard line again. Now it's Nico O'Reilly. Nunes, right inside of the centre circle, brings it over the halfway line. On to Semenyo, who's taken up a more central position here for City. Goes back to Nunes once more. Bernardo Silva is the one now hugging the touchline down this right side, but he is Erling Haaland, but he can't get the ball on towards Cherki, and Burnley clear towards the halfway line. Nunes retrieves again for Manchester City. Nearly 10 minutes played at the start of the second. Semenyo just overruns it slightly. White come for Haaland. Oh, he's hit the post. Outside of the post and behind for a goal kick. It fell beautifully, the Norwegian. You're just waiting for that net to bulge. Right-footed. He's beaten the goalkeeper. Hits the outside of the post and goes behind for a goal kick. Nico O'Reilly involved again. Lovely turn by him. And Semenyo tried to run it past the defender. It actually comes off the defender, who is Estev, but straight into the path of Haaland. And then right-footed, you think it's 2-0. And keeper is beaten, but he couldn't beat that post, Erling Haaland. And it's gone behind for a goal kick to Burnley. 10 minutes played at the start of the second. Still Burnley 0, Manchester City 1, as it has been since the 5th minute. There's been a goal in that game in Spain. I mentioned earlier, leaders Barcelona looking to extend their lead back to 9 points after Real Madrid's win last night, and they've taken the lead just before half-time. Lamine Yamal from the penalty spot. So Barcelona 1, Celta Vigo 0. That means that Barcelona would restore their lead to 9 points in La Liga with 6 games to go. Hard to see how Barcelona aren't going to go on and win the league this season. The City go back to the goalkeeper through Bernardo Silva. And now Nico O'Reilly. On it goes to Doku. Look at the spaces open up for the Belgian just inside the Burnley half. Goes out towards this near side. Now on to Cherki. Finds Semenyo. Hugging the touchline down this right-hand side. Semenyo can't beat the defender, though, who is Hartman. Does really well. And then clears long down the line. There's nobody there in a Burnley shirt. In fact, he's going to chase the ball that he played down the line himself. But that's tidied up by Kushinov, who goes back to Donnarumma inside the D. Out to Mark Guay. Now it's Ryan Aït-Nouri. Returns the favour, finds the ex-Palace man again. How big will it turn out to be, those 2 big money signings that Manchester City made in the January transfer window? How big will they turn out to be? The 23 million euros, of course, for Mark Guay, and then the 72 million euros that went the way of Bournemouth to bring in the man who has the ball at his feet at the moment, Anton Semenyo. Semenyo continues towards the edge of the penalty area, then overruns it slightly, but Burnley sloppy. Straight back to Cherki. Bernardo Silva goes out towards the inside left position where he finds Guay. Now Doku. Is he going to take on Kyle Walker over on that far side? They've doubled up on him because across has come Chouameni as well. Infield it goes to Bernardo Silva. Now Kushinov. Kushinov getting forward, takes it out towards the right-hand side. This is promising. He's in the right wing position now, Kushinov. Well out of position. In the end, it goes back to Nunes. Kushinov is still up there. He's level with the edge of the penalty area. Not quite sure what to do with it, I don't think. But in the end, he just finds Cherki. Cherki now back in field to Nico O'Reilly. And then it goes all the way back towards the left-hand side of the centre circle, and it's Mark Guay for City. Burnley hanging in, aren't they? They really are. Haven't really had a big moment in this second half. They had 2 or 3 in the first. If they could create something at 1-0, you never know. City, of course, have been dominant possession-wise. Nobody expected anything different here at Turf Moor, but they're still in this one. And they will still be in it until City, if they do, get a second. Kushinov finds Guay towards the left-hand side. On it goes to Doku. Doku just holds it up. Waits for a little movement, and in the end he just knocks it back to Mark Guay inside his own half. Guay, left-hand side of the centre circle. Square to his right-hand side, Núñez, Bernardo Silva, acres of space down this right-hand side for Manchester City, takes it over the halfway line and starts advancing. Then midway inside the Burnley half, just holds it up, then goes Square to his left-hand side where he finds Núñez, goes back out to the Portuguese, down the line to Semenyo. Semenyo is level with the edge of the penalty area. Back in field to Bernardo Silva, loops one over the top. Will it reach a City player on the edge of the penalty area? It will come back actually. Now Doku right inside of the D, gets the shot in, and it's always rising, and it's into the crowd towards our right hand side. Behind for a goal kick to Burnley. And in the other game in the Premier League this evening, it's still Bournemouth 0, Leeds 0. If that stays the same, Bournemouth will be in 7th. There'll be another team going ahead of Chelsea. Chelsea are just rapidly falling down the table, aren't they? Brighton's win yesterday put them ahead of Chelsea, and a draw tonight would be enough for Bournemouth to go ahead of Chelsea as well. Chelsea will be in 8th, Bournemouth in 7th on 49. We've got Brentford on 48 as well. Everton on 47, Sunderland 46, Fulham 45. It's so congested in that area of the table. And for Leeds, of course, that point will be enough to put them on the magical 40-point mark in the Premier League. It's going to be a free kick to Burnley. Midway inside the Manchester City half, a few yards infield from the far touchline, the Burnley right. It's going to be taken by James Ward-Prowse. Who else would it be taken by? Takes all of the set pieces, as he did when he was at Southampton, of course. Really got a strong reputation, didn't he, as a dead ball king, a dead ball master. Still fancies his chances from sort of 25-30 yards out, as well as with a direct hit on goal. This one he's going to clip in towards the edge of the penalty area. The Manchester City line is quite high, and it comes. City get it clear towards the edge of the penalty area, and then, oh goodness me, less said about that shot the better from Hartman, which sails into the crowd towards our left-hand side, and it's behind for a goal kick. We are on the hour mark then here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. City heading towards their 9th. Well, they've given the ball away on the edge of the penalty area. Now can they take advantage, Burnley? And they can't take advantage because just to the left of the D, Jadon Anthony went for a shot and completely fluffed his lines. He completely missed the ball. And City can bring it clear down this right-hand side. Here's Semenyo, right-hand side of the centre circle, brings it inside the centre circle, and then plays it low towards his left-hand side. And Ryan Aït-Nouri, who's got Doku ahead of him, finds the Belgian and continues his run down that left-hand side. Doku cuts in field. Ball on his right foot, holds it up and goes back to Gueye. Gueye's going to clip it out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area, but he just sells Cherki a little bit short, and that allows Hartman to head the ball clear for Burnley down this near side. Really good work by Matheus Núñez as well, just to keep the ball in play and then shrug off the interests of Jadon Anthony, who had a good opportunity but some moments ago when City played out from the back and lost it. Ball into the box towards Semenyo, headed clear towards the edge of the penalty area, and I think there was a foul there. The referee's allowed play to continue because Burnley have brought it clear anyway. Here's Jadon Anthony down this left-hand side, just held up by Semenyo. Infield to Chuana, back to Anthony again, and he goes all the way back towards the left-hand side of his penalty area. And it's back with Dubravka. Dubravka touches it out to Ekdal, right-hand side of the penalty area, down the line it goes. Kyle Walker, that one's fallen kindly for Burnley, drilled out towards this near side. There was so much space for Jadon Anthony. It seemed like a simple ball. They couldn't find him because it didn't have enough pace on it, the ball, and it was intercepted by Matheus Núñez, who has it again for Manchester City. On it goes to Cherki now. Cherki right-hand side of the penalty area, plays it on to Núñez. Núñez is held up down towards the byline. Plays it back out towards this near touchline, and Cherki cuts in field, leaves it for Bernardo Silva. A City engineering a second here at Turf Moor. It could get a little bit nervy, couldn't it, if it got towards the latter stages and City hadn't got the second. Now it's Doku. Can the Belgian provide a little bit of inspiration? Down towards the byline, there's the cross, cut out of the near post, and Burnley can bring it clear with James Ward-Prowse. Now it's Kyle Walker. They've got to go long here, surely Burnley, in the end they do, down that right-hand side. Straight to a Manchester City player, though. The City will come again. Here's Doku. Doku slides it on towards Cherki, and that's really good defending, actually, by Ekdal. And then Burnley clear long down the right-hand side, and it's a long ball towards Fleming, who actually held it up quite well, but didn't have any support. And it's tidied up by Kushinov, who goes all the way back to Donnarumma. Donnarumma on to Gueye. Gueye finds Aït-Nouri just shy of the halfway line. Touched it infield to Bernardo Silva. just to the left of the centre circle for Manchester City. Takes it inside the centre circle. Closed down by Josh Laurent, but then just finds Mark Guay to his left-hand side. On it goes to Doku. Doku to Ait-Nouri again, and the Algerian knocks it back inside his own half again to Mark Guay. Bernardo Silva. Manchester City so dominant in possession, but really the only chance they've created in the second half was that one for Haaland when he hit the outside of the post. Other than that, Burnley have held firm up until this point. Doku tries to thread it through towards Cherki, but they'll get it clear over on the far side. Can Doku win the ball back? No, he can't. Good work by Kyle Walker, and then he's brought down by the Belgian over on the far side. It'll be a free kick to Burnley, midway inside their own half, just a few yards infield from the far touchline, the Burnley right. And just looking at a replay of a potential, what was at the time a potential appeal for a penalty for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva looked up, his foot stepped on, trod on, but I think he handballed it before that happened from what I could see. Anyway, a couple of changes for Manchester City, and it's Nico Gonzalez, who's coming on, and Semenyo's evening is over. You can see him coming towards this near touchline. Burnley are going to get a free kick inside their own half, and they're going to pump it long. There's been a goal, I'll tell you about, down on the south coast in a second. Just confirming these changes that have happened here at Turf Moor. And it's a Manchester City double, so it's Nico Gonzalez on for Ait-Nouri, and it's Savinho, the almost forgotten Brazilian, on in place of Anton Semenyo. Throw in to Burnley, level with the edge of the Manchester City penalty area. Burnley right, hurled in there and headed clear for Manchester City. Now they might have a break on here, City, if they play this right. Savinho, what an entrance. Ball over the halfway line to Cherki. Now they look a little bit stretched here, Burnley. Cherki still advancing. He's inside the penalty area. He's forced a little bit wide, and in the end the chance has sort of gone for Manchester City. They were so short there, Burnley, coming back. And City have actually lost possession, and Burnley can bring it away. Fleming on towards, I think he's fouled Manchester City player there, Nico Gonzalez. Indeed, he has, and it's a free kick to Manchester City, just outside the centre circle, inside the Burnley half. So goal down on the south coast. Could be a big one as well as far as the European places go, because Bournemouth, who are in such good form at the moment, aren't they? They really are the form team of the Premier League. Krupi's got the goal on the hour. So Bournemouth 1, Leeds 0. Here's James Ward-Prowse for Burnley. Goes out towards Kyle Walker over on that far side. Infield it goes, and then all the way back in the end towards the halfway line. Back towards the edge of the 18-yard line. Here's Esther, going out towards the near side. Hartman returns the favour back towards the edge of the penalty area. We're edging towards the midway point of this second half, and it's still that 5th-minute goal from Erling Haaland, his 35th in all competitions this evening, separating the sides. He was the match winner on Sunday. That big goal against Arsenal, probably the biggest goal he's scored this season, Erling Haaland. And another important one tonight. They're all important, aren't they, at this stage of the season, as Manchester City look to win the domestic treble. They were the first team and still are the only team ever to do that in England. And here they come with Savinho right inside of the penalty area. Just held up, the Brazilian. Still has possession though. Threads it in towards Cherki again, down towards the byline he goes. Cherki's got to get the ball into the 6-yard area surely. And in the end, a little bit of showboating. He just flicked the ball up. A little bit of peepy uppies, and then tried to flick it in towards the 6-yard area, but just played it straight into the arms of Martin Dubravka. Bit of an odd one, that one, from the Frenchman. So City, Burnley I should say, playing out from the back. Down the line it goes. And it's towards Fleming. Can he hold it up over on the far side? He wants the free kick. He's going to get the free kick. Good work, actually, as he draws the foul from Kushinov. So free kick to Burnley. And that draws the applause from Scott Parker on the touchline. So for City, with those changes, Gonzalez then at left back and Savinho on the right wing in place of Anton Semenyo. Sort of faded in the second half. I thought he had a good first half, actually, the ex-Bournemouth man, but quiet in this second, and clearly Pep Guardiola's seen enough. They've got an FA Cup semi-final at the weekend. They've already won the League Cup, of course. So the domestic treble being the League Cup, the FA Cup and the Premier League. No team had ever done it before. City did it in 2019. And they're looking to repeat the feat. They also obviously matched Manchester United's 1999 treble, didn't they, in 2023. And that's the big treble, really, isn't it? The three big ones, the FA Premier League, the Champions League and the FA Cup. And a season that, at one stage of the season, you think maybe it was just going to be a quiet one for Manchester City. Didn't win anything last season, of course. Ended the season by losing the FA Cup final to Crystal Palace. And we did wonder about this season. It was a bit of an unknown entity, Manchester City, really. We didn't really know what to expect. Well, they could end up winning 3 trophies, couldn't they? There's 1 in the cabinet already, and they're chasing 2 more. Tonight it's all about the Premier League. The weekend it's all about the FA Cup at Wembley. Here's Nico O'Reilly, left-hand side of the penalty area. Leaves it for Doku. Back to Guay. Now Cherky. Just so congested on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Here's Nico Gonzalez. Infield to Kushinov. Gets the ball back, the Spaniard. He's about 35 yards from goal, left of centre. Scoops one out to Doku. Doku looking to take on Walker again. Doubled up by Chuana again. Chuana, I should say. Goes for the return ball inside the penalty area. Oh, it might fall for Haaland. It's cleared towards the far post. Savinho with the shot. Hits the leg of Martin Dubravka. Goes behind for a corner. City close to a second. Well, I think the big opportunity was for Haaland, really, rather than Savinho. That's who the ball was meant for. Bernardo Silva is going to take the corner inside the last 20 now here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. City could do with a goal now, because if he gets inside the last 10 minutes at 1-0, it could get a little edgy, could be a little nervy. Bernardo Silva is headed clear at the near post, but he'll get another opportunity, the Portuguese, because it's gone straight behind for another one. So second bite of the cherry, but he goes short this time. And he goes short to Savinho, gets the ball back left, right-hand corner of the penalty area, plays it across the 18-yard line. Shot comes in, and that's dragged well wide of the goalkeeper's right-hand post and behind for a goal kick. And it was Cherky. One touch, edge of the D, and then right-footed. He squirms it well wide of the goalkeeper's right-hand post. And behind for a goal kick. And we've got 19 minutes left on the clock. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Leeds have equalised against Bournemouth. That's 1 apiece now. Bournemouth 1, Leeds 1. James Hill with an own goal in that one again. That puts Leeds back on the magic 40-point mark. When Bournemouth were leading that game, they were heading to 51 points. They were actually heading up to 6th ahead of Brighton. Here's a change for Scott Parker. And Kyle Foster, the South African, is going to come on for Burnley. First change of the evening for Scott Parker. And just wait for confirmation of who is replaced. It's Chouna, the Frenchman, the ex-Lazio man who was replaced, number 17. So just over 18 minutes left on the clock. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Back to Dubravka. And then poked out towards this near side for Burnley. How much of a go are they going to have here, Burnley? Got nothing to, well, they've got nothing to lose. They're going to be relegated. They're going to be relegated. If they draw, by the way, they're all but relegated. They can only stay up. Well, if they win all their games, the remaining games, other teams lose all their games, and there's a huge swift shift in goal difference. Dubravka clips one out towards the far side for Burnley. Beautifully brought down by Kyle Walker as well. And then Burnley gift the ball back, I'd say, more than give the ball back to Manchester City, to Nico O'Reilly. He then can't find Doku. Then there's a challenge that comes in, and that'll be a free kick. Nico O'Reilly with the foul. Free kick to Burnley, midway inside their own half, couple of yards infield from the right-hand touchline. Just a reminder, the head-to-head of these two teams, it's so one-sided as maybe you would expect. Manchester City have won the last 14 games between these two sides, and they've only conceded 3 goals in those 14 games, and they've scored an absolute hatful in that time. You've got to go back to March 2015. So the 2014-15 season, Burnley won here 1-0 at Turf Moor. Manchester City were, of course, the reigning champions there. They won the title in 2013-14 under Manuel Pellegrini. which was the last Manchester City title before the Pep Guardiola years, when Pep took over. Didn't win it in his first season, of course. It was Chelsea under Antonio Conte in 2016-17 in Pep Guardiola's first year. But since then, 6 from 8. Looking to make it 7 from 9 this season. Only Liverpool have prevented Manchester City and Pep Guardiola winning the title since that first season when Chelsea won it. Once under Jurgen Klopp and, of course, last season under Arne Slot. Well, it looked for much of this season as if Mikel Arteta and Arsenal were going to add to that list. But, well, it's going to be tight, isn't it? Manchester City, at this stage of the season, they've got this incredible record where they don't lose Premier League games in April. And it looks like that run is going to continue tonight to put them top of the table on goals scored rather than goal difference. At the moment, if they get a second goal, then it will be goal difference because they'll have a +1 better goal difference than Arsenal. But at the moment, as it stands, they're heading top, same goal difference, but on goals scored. And of course, Arsenal famously won the league in 1988-1989 season. 1 goal scored from Liverpool, of course, when they finished level on points and level on goal difference. What have Burnley got left in them then? Anything or nothing? They've got a quarter of an hour. They're going to be relegated in 15 minutes plus stoppage time, unless they can find a goal. Doku has it over on the far side for Manchester City. Goes back towards the halfway line. Here's Nico Gonzalez. Touched off by Cherki. Kushinov inside the centre circle. Kushinov to Gonzalez again. Releases it to Gueye, left-hand side of the centre circle. Finds Cherki once more. Been as busy as ever this evening, the Frenchman. Cherki with 10 goals in all competitions this season. And only Erling Haaland, with his 35 as it is now, has scored more in a Manchester City shirt this season. Doku, left-hand side of the penalty area. Still Doku. Poor ball into the box from the Belgian. Cleared by Burnley, but picked up by Gonzalez. Challenged over on the far side. He's lost possession now. City are a little bit short. Burnley over the halfway line they come. Through it goes to Fleming. Now Fleming just forced a little bit wide. Left-hand side of the penalty area. Loops it over towards the far side. This is promising for Burnley. Ball comes down, and that's a really poor effort, which is kept in play just, I think, down this near side. Is it? No, the referee said it's gone out. It's almost with Burnley, well, in fact, the offside flag's gone up, but it's almost with Burnley as if when they do get into a decent position, they don't really know what to do. And that's exactly what happened there. It was sloppy from City, losing possession. It's looped over towards the far side, and then the shot, it was actually Carl Foster. I think it might be his first touch off the bench, and he gets a left-footed shot in from just inside the penalty area, just to the right of centre, and it's almost as if he just doesn't know what to do with it. He sort of hits this shot down into the ground. It's so far off target, it's probably closer to the corner flag than it is the goal. And in the end, there was a man in offside position. Haaland puts the afterburners on. Oh, and then it's tackled well by James Ward-Prowse. Good work by the ex-Southampton man there. Here's Hartman down this near side for Burnley. Back towards the edge of his penalty area. They've done well, Burnley, tonight, whatever happens. We know they're going to be relegated. We've known it for a very, very long time, but they're playing against a Manchester City side full of confidence, just beaten their main title rivals at the Etihad at the weekend, and they've put in a really good shift whatever happens. They're going to probably lose this game, let's be honest. Savinho, that's a really well-timed challenge down this near side for Burnley. And then Carl Walker, who's popped up down this left-hand side, has it in field to Hartman. Still intent on playing out from the back here, Burnley. They're going to have to go long eventually, and they do through Hartman. Long down the centre, header clear from Kushinov. No Rodri tonight for Manchester City. They'll hope that that's not for too long. Interesting to see if he plays the FA Cup game at the weekend. I would chance he probably won't. Here's Cherki down towards the byline. That's a brilliant challenge by Estep to put the ball behind. It's a Manchester City corner, their 9th of the evening. And that was Cherki dancing his way into the penalty area, similar way to the goal he scored at the weekend against Arsenal, but it's a really well-timed challenge by Maxime Estep. So it's a corner for City. 12 minutes left on the clock. Still 1-0 to Pep Guardiola's men. And a second now at this stage seals it. There's no way back for Burnley. Bernardo Silva's going to go short again. Savinho. Talk about him leaving in the summer. Bernardo Silva now. about 30 yards from goal, left of centre, goes back to Cherky. On it goes from Matheus Nunes, back out to Savinho. Savinho puts the afterburners on down towards the byline. There's the cross, and there's the header clear at the near post. And will it fall for Bernardo Silva, edge of the penalty area? It will. Clips it towards the far post. And a brilliant bit of defending before Gueye could get there. And it's headed clear. And here's Kyle Walker back to Dubravka. And he's going to kick long, right-footed out towards the far side. Underneath it is Gueye, but he can't control it. Or can he? He's kept it in play. Now then, Doku, left-hand side of the penalty. I thought, for all the world, the ball was going out. Here's Gueye, tees up Cherky. Cherky, a couple of step-overs from the Frenchman, then goes out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area to Savinho. Now Savinho, can he provide something? Pokes it back towards Bernardo Silva. So many defenders in front of him. Has to go back out to Matheus Nunes. Nunes down towards the byline. There's the cross. Keeper gets enough on it. And then it's volleyed clear on the edge of the 6-yard area by Kyle Walker. Cleared long by Burnley towards the halfway line. Kushanov picks it up again for City. Bernardo Silva now. They'll come again, City. They're desperate for this second one. Just to close this game out. Matheus Nunes again. Down this near side. Now it's Cherky. He's inside the penalty area. Cherky, can he cross it? He can to Haaland on the volley. 8 yards out into the crowd. Opportunity. It was a difficult one for the Norwegian, but you wouldn't put anyone past him. Lovely run by Cherky. And then in towards Haaland, who's pretty much stood on the penalty spot. Right-footed first-time shot on the volley. And gets right underneath it, Erling Haaland. And it's behind for a goal kick to Burnley as we head inside the last 10 minutes. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. City are going top, Burnley are going down as it stands. And even a late dramatic goal for Burnley would only delay the inevitable for Scott Parker's men. It's been known for some time. Throw in for Burnley, just inside the Manchester City half, over on the far side, the Burnley right. It's going to be taken by Kyle Walker, who's had a good game this evening against his former side. Now it's Estev, left-hand side of the centre circle, low ball out towards Hartman. Hartman thought about the long ball forward, but then goes back towards Estev again. Square to Ekdal. Ekdal closed down by Haaland, does go long, right-footed out towards the far side. That's an awful pass, it really is. It really was a poor pass. It wasn't a difficult one by the looks of things. Floated out towards the far side, it's into the crowd. It's a throw into Man City on the halfway line down their left. Here's Gueye, square to Kushanov. Kushanov. This is unusual at this stage of the season with just five games to go to have a situation where the Premier League title is in the hands of two teams. And that's exactly where we are at the minute as Doku draws a foul over on the far side. So free kick to City. And Burnley are going to make a double change before that's taken. And they're bringing on Fiorentina on loan from Benfica. So Zian Fleming, well, he had that gilt-edged chance, didn't he, in the first half to put them level, and he fluffed his lines. And Broja is going to come on as well, the ex-Chelsea man. And the other player to come off is the number 12, so it's Bashir Humphreys. So 3 changes so far for Burnley. Manchester City have made just the 2, bringing on Nico Gonzalez and Savinho, replacing Aït-Nouri and Anton Semenyo. And for Burnley, Humphreys, Chouna and Fleming have all been replaced. It's Broja, Fiorentina and Foster who've come on. Broja, well, we did wonder at one stage whether the Albanian, there was a moment, wasn't there, where we thought maybe that the Albanian was going to be the next big thing when he went to Chelsea. It never worked out. He went out on loan to Chelsea's West London rivals Fulham, and he's ended up here at Turf Moor, and he was only on the bench this evening as Burnley clear towards the halfway line, but there's nobody there to pick it up for the hosts, and so Nico Gonzalez will make a run down that line. Surely that ball's gone out of play. It's kept in. Well, we just got a real close-up of that ball as well. It looked like it was out to me, but the referee's allowed play to continue, and eventually City work it out towards the right-hand side of the penalty area with Cherky. Infield it goes to Nunes. Goes back out to Cherki as Savinio cuts infield slightly. It's back to Nunes though, and then back towards the halfway line. Kushinov inside the centre circle, goes square to Guay. Guay with the low ball out towards Jeremy Doku. Again looking to take on Carl Walker. It's been a good battle, that one, this evening. Infield it goes, Nico Gonzalez left-hand side of the D. And then Cherki. You feel if something's going to happen with City, it's going to be Cherki. Cherki gets the shot in, but it's a tame one anyway. And Burnley get it clear. Now, how brave are Burnley going to be? Well, they're going to win a free kick there for a challenge on the edge of the D on James Ward-Prowse. So it's a free kick to Burnley. We've got 6 minutes left. Still Bournemouth 1, Leeds 1, by the way. That one's pretty much in tandem with this one. Got 6 minutes to play at the Vitality as well. So as it stands, it'll be City played 33. Goal difference 37.70. Arsenal played 33.70. Goal difference 37. How tight is this Premier League title race going to be? 5 games to go for each side. It'll be Arsenal's turn next because City, of course, playing the FA Cup semi-final at the weekend. So Arsenal will play at home to Newcastle. So at the Emirates, a game against Eddie Howe's men, who, of course, have been struggling of late. Doku, lovely turn on the halfway line. Can City get a second? Through to Haaland, just sells him a little bit short. And Burnley can get it clear. Out towards the far side. That's a really sloppy pass, though, by Fiorentino, who's just come on as a substitute. Really needed a clear for Burnley and just played it straight to Doku. Now it's worked out to Savinio, right inside of the penalty area. Savinio, that's a really well-timed challenge as well. It'll be a corner for City. Really good defending again from Hartman. And the Dutchman puts it behind. And Manchester City's corner count is now into double figures. Their 10th of the evening in the last 5 minutes as we are now. And if they don't get this second goal, you just do wonder whether there could just be one little awkward moment for Manchester City. Maybe just a free kick or a corner or something for Burnley, just to get the hearts racing for the City faithful. In comes this corner towards the far post. It's headed clear for Burnley. Doku has it. Now Cherki, the referee, almost getting in the way there. And Andy Madley was quick to move when Cherki had it. Now Bernardo Silva leaves it for Savinio. Level with the edge of the penalty area down the right-hand side for City. Ball with the outside of the boot to Bernardo Silva. Turns inside that penalty. It's so congested. Bernardo Silva's got 3 Burnley players around him. He manages to smuggle back towards the edge of the penalty area. And the shot comes in from Nico Gonzalez, which is a couple of yards wide of the goalkeeper's right-hand post and behind for a goal kick to Burnley. I think it was the right ball from Bernardo Silva. He looked left, he looked right, he looked absolutely everywhere for an option. And in the end, the unlikely option was the form of the Spaniard Nico Gonzalez, right-footed, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. And another change for Burnley. Anthony and Lauren, in fact, are coming off, so it's a double change. And it's the number 31, Mike Tressor, the Belgian, who's coming on, and Marcus Edwards, the number 10, is coming on as well. So that's all 5 for Burnley and for Scott Parker. And Burnley are going to get a free kick by the looks of things. And we've got 3 minutes left of the 90. Will there be that one awkward moment? You just wonder whether there might be just one little awkward moment for Manchester City. And that remains to be seen. Bournemouth have got the lead back, by the way, against Leeds late on. 5 minutes to go. Ryan's got that goal. Bournemouth 2, Leeds 1. That puts Bournemouth into 6th. They really are the team in form, and they're one of the teams that Manchester City have still got to play actually in this title race. That could be an interesting one, as they've got to go to the Vitality. Ward-Prowse, can they provide a moment of panic for Manchester City with this free kick? In it comes. Manchester City managed to get it clear, and in fact, there's a flag up over on the far side, and if there is going to be a shaky moment for Manchester City, that certainly wasn't it. James Ward-Prowse with the ball in towards the edge of the penalty area. Manchester City just stepped up, and the ball and the flag went up over on the far side. So half-time in that game in Spain. Barcelona 1, Celta Vigo 0. Barcelona heading 9 points clear again. Elche 3, Atletico Madrid 2, and Real Sociedad 0, Getafe 1 are results from earlier this evening. So Bournemouth 2-1 up on Leeds. They are heading 6th. Leeds are going to stay on 39 points. I did say if they could get a point tonight, I reckon they were pretty much safe with that 40 points marker. But they may have to wait for that, Daniel Farke's men. We're inside the 89th minute. 1-0 to City. That will do. It's not been vintage City, far from it. That one's looped forward by Bernardo Silva. That'll go all the way through to Dubravka. But at this stage of the season, the performances don't matter, do they? That's sloppy from Burnley. Playing out from the back, they've lost it. Can Doku take advantage? Still Doku inside the penalty area. There's the shot from Bernardo Silva. Block. Haaland with the shot. And it's saved by the goalkeeper. And Burnley have got away with one there. They really are. They were sloppy, giving the ball away. They've been so good tonight. They haven't done that at all, really. Doku, first shot came in from Bernardo Silva. That was saved. It came back fortuitously, really, to Erling Haaland. Shot on the sort of half volley. And in the end, a comfortable, I would say, save for Martin Dubravka. We're in the 90th minute. Mark Guay has possession for City. Goes out towards Doku over on that far side. Another good game. The Belgian played well at the weekend. Goes back to Guay, and Guay goes long in the end, but there's nobody there in a City shirt to pick that one up, and Burnley clear down the line, but I think that's going to go out of play. Indeed it will. So Manchester City have a throw-in on the halfway line down their left. They've gone for the quick one towards the left-hand side of the penalty area. It's Cherki. Still Cherki. Ball to Haaland, a little bit too much pace. Burnley get it half clear. The City pick it up again. Midway inside the Burnley half with Nico O'Reilly. Plays it low out towards the inside right position. Here's Bernardo Silva, as busy as ever, the Portuguese. Now Cherki. Can Cherki finish things off? Goes for the shot. There's the chance for the finish, and it's fluffed by Nico O'Reilly. I'm not sure if he was offside, and I think he's trying to sort of dink it over Dubravka. Just looking at a replay of it, if he's onside, it's a poor finish. Oh, he was onside. It's just a really poor finish. 6 yards out. He should have buried that, Nico O'Reilly. In the form that he's been in recently, you'd expect him to. And he just hits it straight to Dubravka. Burnley go long. We're inside stoppage time. Loop down this left-hand side. And it'll be chased by the number 9, Carl Foster. But City clear it. We're in 4 minutes of stoppage time. City 1 up, as they have been since the 5th minute when Erling Haaland gave them the lead. They've just got to be clever here, Manchester City. Just got to play keep ball for 4 minutes, and they're going to get the 3 points, which is going to put them top of the league even on goals scored. They're also in stoppage time at the Vitality, and Bournemouth leading by 2 goals to 1. The in-form team in the Premier League, they really are. And are they heading into Europe? And of course, losing their manager in the summer, of course, Areola is on his way out, as Burnley almost still possession on the halfway line, but then Matheus Nunes sorts it out and then plays a nice ball with the outside of the boot to Mark Guay. Leaves it for Bernardo Silva. Inside the centre circle finds Nico Gonzalez. On it goes to Cherki. Now can City get this second goal? Cherki looks the most likely. Still Cherki. And it's a corner because it's good defending back by Florentino to block. Corner to Manchester City, they're 11th. And at this stage of the game, you do wonder whether City will just keep this in the corner. They've got another 3 minutes of stoppage time. Pep Guardiola, as animated as I've seen him for a long time, he has been for much of the evening. So across to take this corner comes Savinho, the Brazilian. A look of... looks a little bit perplexed, Pep Guardiola, more than anything else on the touchline. Not entirely sure why. Savinho then to take this. I thought City would just go short here and keep it in the corner, but it looks like Savinho's going to play it in. Let's see what happens. Nope, he's fooled us all. He does go short. Then gets the ball back, right inside of the penalty area. Pokes it towards Cherki. Now Doku with a shot. That's blocked, and Burnley get it clear out towards the near side. Throw in for Manchester City. We've played 2 minutes of stoppage time. 2 to go. Bernardo Silva will take this throw in for, well, as they currently are on the live table, the league leaders, and they're about to become the league leaders, and they haven't led the table since August, and they started off the season with a big win against Wolverhampton Wanderers, of course, who little did we know at the time. Here's Bernardo Silva. Still Bernardo Silva, right in corner of the penalty area, goes back out to Savinho. Now Savinho trying to work space for the shot. Will it fall for Bernardo Silva? It's so congested in there. Can somebody get the shot in? No, they can't. And Burnley will clear long. They've got to show a little bit of ambition here, Burnley, as it does go long. It'll be tidied up by Kushinov back to the goalkeeper. Goes low out towards Kushinov, right inside of his penalty. He's going to go long. Can't blame him for that at this time. Haaland will give chase. And will Haaland get there before the goalkeeper? No, he can't. Good work by Dubravka. And Burnley can clear. They've got to get it forward now, Burnley, surely. They've got to show a little bit of ambition here. Surely we're inside the last minute of stoppage time, and they're still reluctant to pump it forward. And in the end, they do get a free kick because that's a foul by Jeremy Doku, so they've got to pump it forward now, surely. Final minute of stoppage time. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Erling Haaland's goal in the 5th minute looks like it's going to put City up to the top of the table and relegate Burnley back down to the Championship at the first time of asking. They've got a free kick, but they're inside their own half. Pumped long by Dubravka. Little flick on towards the right-hand side of the penalty area. It's the last chance for Burnley. The ball's got to come into the box. It does. Savinho gets it clear. Headed back into the mix. Kushnoff heads it clear. More head tennis. And Burnley have it again. Last chance. They've got to get the ball into the box, surely. The low ball comes in, and they will get a corner, and they will get one last opportunity. And Pep Guardiola can barely look. Well, I did say, could there be just an awkward moment for Manchester City? Well, the awkward moment is this corner. Now, whether anything comes of this corner remains to be seen, but this is the last moment. Manchester City just need to clear this corner, and they've won the game because the full-time whistle is going to go. So it's from the far side. It's going to be a left-footed in-swinger. Dubravka's coming up as well. The goalkeeper's in there in all orange, trying to cause some problems for City. In it comes, and it's headed clear out towards the far side again. Dubravka's got to get back, because he doesn't, Burnley are in trouble. And there goes the final whistle. It was one goal that was enough for Manchester City to put them top of the table and to relegate Burnley. They're back down to the Championship at the first time of asking. Scott Parker's men down again. But for Manchester City, they're up again because they've hit the top of the table for the first time since August. They go above Arsenal on goals scored. They've got the same points as Arsenal, the same goal difference, but they've scored more goals. It could be very, very tight, couldn't it, in these last 5 games? It's 5 games to go, and it's all to play for in the Premier League title race. It's finished here at Turf Moor. Burnley 0, Manchester City 1. Thanks very much for listening, and do enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening.